The Pelasgians are one of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world, a people whispered about in legends, described by ancient writers, and remembered in fragments of stone and myth. They are said to have lived in Greece before the Greeks, to have walked the land before the rise of city-states, before the glory of Athens, before the power of Sparta, before myth turned into memory and memory faded into history. Tonight, as you relax and slowly drift towards sleep, allow your imagination to travel thousands of years into the past. Picture a world untouched by modern noise, no engines, no concrete, no bright screens. Only mountains, forests, rivers, seas, and the gentle rhythm of nature. Somewhere in that quiet world, communities of people lived, hunted, built, prayed, and dreamed. These were the Pelasgians. Ancient Greek writers spoke of them often, but always with mystery. To the poet Homer, the Pelasgians were ancient people of the land. To Herodotus, the great historian, they were an older culture, living in places later taken by the Greeks. To others, they were children of the earth itself, people so ancient that time barely remembered their origin. Some said they came from Thessaly. Some said they lived in Crete. Others placed them in Attica, Arcadia, the Aegean Islands, even Italy. They were everywhere and nowhere certain. Imagine small settlements near gentle coastlines, where wooden boats rested on quiet shores. Fires flickered in the evening as families gathered around them. Simple tools lay beside stone huts. People worked with their hands, shaping clay, carving wood, weaving fabrics. Life was slow, steady, peaceful. There were no empires here, only small communities bound by survival, tradition, and the land. Many scholars believe the Pelasgians lived during the Bronze Age, long before classical Greece. Their world was filled with hillsides of olive trees, fields of wheat, deep blue seas, and skies painted with stars. Nights would have been silent except for the sound of waves, wind through trees, and quiet conversations around crackling fires. The Pelasgians likely spoke a language different from Greek, one now lost to time. Ancient writers said it sounded strange, unfamiliar, older. Without writing, their history faded. Without monuments like the Egyptians or inscriptions like the Mesopotamians, their stories slowly dissolved, leaving only echoes. Yet somehow, those echoes lasted thousands of years, enough for later civilizations to remember their name. Some legends connect the Pelasgians with the builders of mysterious stone walls found across Greece. Enormous rocks stacked together in ways that seem almost impossible. These structures were so impressive that later Greeks believed giants must have built them. They called them Cyclopean walls, as if Cyclopes, the mythical one-eyed giants, had shaped them. Others whispered, perhaps it was the Pelasgians. Whether myth or truth, the Pelasgians became woven into Greek identity. They were thought of as the original people, the first inhabitants, those who belonged to the land before gods and heroes filled the stories. Their religion, though unknown, may have influenced early Greek beliefs. Their customs may have shaped early society. Their presence may have laid quiet foundations upon which Greece would later rise. Now imagine traveling further through time. Slowly, new groups begin to arrive in Greece. Early Greek-speaking tribes who would eventually become the Mycenaeans. These new cultures bring new language, new ideas, and new power. Large fortified cities appear. Trade expands. Warfare grows more organized. Over time, the Pelasgians begin to fade into the background, absorbed, displaced, or transformed into part of this new world. But fading does not mean disappearing. Instead of being erased, they became legend. The Greeks of later centuries remembered them as ancestors of the land. When Greeks looked at ancient ruins older than themselves, they thought of the Pelasgians. When they found strange stones, unusual structures, forgotten tombs, and stories too old to explain, they spoke of Pelasgians. They became a symbol of forgotten age, an age before Greece was Greece. As you listen, let your mind drift to peaceful scenes of quiet ancient life. Fishermen casting nets beneath a warm golden sunrise. Children playing along riverbanks. Families sharing bread beneath shaded trees. Priests whispering unknown prayers, forgotten gods beneath the open sky. The sound of waves gently touching the shore. The wind brushing across tall grass. The steady rhythm of footsteps on earth. The Pelasgians remind us that history is not only about kings, wars, and great monuments. It is also about ordinary lives, lived quietly, meaningfully, and deeply connected to nature. They remind us that not every civilization leaves a clear story behind. Yet even those that vanished still shaped the world after them. As Greek civilization grew, as philosophy appeared, as temples rose and myths formed, the Pelasgians lived on not as a nation, but as memory. Greek writers would speak of them with respect and wonder. Some saw them as ancestors, some as shadows of an older time. But all agreed on one thing: they mattered. Perhaps that is why their story feels so calm and gentle. There is no great war of Pelasgians recorded, no dramatic collapse written in history. Instead, they quietly melted into the cultures that followed, blend into new peoples, becoming part of a greater story rather than standing alone. In a way, that is a beautiful ending. They did not vanish violently. They became one with the land they had always called home. Now, imagine nighttime in the Pelasgian world. The sky is full of stars. There are no city lights, no aircraft, no distant traffic. Only the deep, peaceful silence of nature. Fires burn softly, keeping families warm. The sound of slow breathing, gentle conversation, and the quiet comfort of simply existing. This was their world, simple, ancient, and deeply human. We may never know exactly who they were, where they came from, or what language they spoke, but their mystery is part of their beauty. Sometimes, the unknown invites us to imagine, to dream, and feel connected to humanity in a deeper way. The Pelasgians teach us that even civilizations without written records shape history. Even voices lost to time still echo softly. Even forgotten are never truly gone. Their legacy lives in ancient stonework, in myths retold and place names scattered across Greece, and in the curiosity of every person who hears their story and wonders about them. Tonight, that curiosity has brought you here. And in this moment, you share a connection with the people who lived thousands of years ago. Let that thought feel peaceful, grounding, and calm. As you continue to relax, let your breathing become gentle and steady, just like the slow rhythm of ancient waves against the shore, just like the calm pace of Pelasgian life beneath wide, open skies. In the end, the Pelasgians remind us that time moves on, civilizations rise and fall, and yet humanity continues, always leaving traces behind. They remain part of the deep foundation of Greek history, quiet, mysterious, and eternal. So now, rest your mind, let the mystery drift softly into background, and sleep peacefully knowing that some stories do not need perfect answers. Some histories are meant to be felt, not solved. The Pelasgians were here, they lived, they loved, they dreamed, and now they rest gently in the memory of the world. And as you rest tonight, their story rests with you. Good night.